Hi, I'm Jen Newton, the registered dietitian at the Sky Lakes Wellness Center. Today we're here back in the kitchen to talk about granola bars. Now I like granola bars because they're pretty versatile, they're quick and easy to do, and they are pretty, we can customize them to what we have on hand and what our preferences are pretty easily. Most granola bars are going to start with a base of oatmeal or oats, so we're going to be using that along with nuts throughout our recipe. We're going to be using almonds today. We're using some whole almonds that we're chopping up. But the great thing about the granola bars is you can use any nut that you prefer or that you have on hand. If you have access to things like sliced almonds or walnut pieces or pecan pieces, that can make it easier in terms of you're not going to have to chop anything, so you're just adding it to the recipe itself. We're going to be using honey, butter, and brown sugar to create essentially our glue that's going to hold our granola bars together. Then we're also going to be adding in some vanilla, a little bit of salt just for some seasoning, and then adding in our dried fruit. And today we're going to be using a combination of cranberries and raisins as well. So first we're going to start on the stovetop, and we're going to toast our almonds that we're going to be using. And I like to toast them just because it brings out the flavor a little bit. It's not necessary, so if you opt to not do that, you're still going to have a fantastic product. And then while that's happening, we're also going to be combining our honey, our butter, our brown sugar, our vanilla extract, and our salt so that we can create that glue that's going to hold our granola bar together. Okay, let's get started. Our mixture is cooled for about 5 minutes, and so now we're going to add in our dried fruit, which we're using golden raisins. And again, you can use whatever you have on hand or what you prefer. I think dried cherries can make a nice addition, but not typically something I regularly have in my cabinet. But raisins or craisins are things that I typically would. So I have my golden raisins in here, and I'm adding my chocolate chips. Now these are just regular sized chocolate chips, but if you have mini chocolate chips, that's going to spread throughout the mixture a little bit more. We're just going to mix this all together until we just get it well combined. And then we're going to pour it into our pan. So to prepare our pan, we've taken a 9x9 baking pan and I've lined it with parchment paper. So this is going to make it easier for us to take this out and be able to cut it into our granola bars. So I'm going to dump our mixture in. Get it spread around a little bit. And then one of the keys to our granola bars staying together is we want to make sure that we're pressing it into our pan. So I like to use the bottom of a glass because it gives us a good surface area there. And I'm literally going to spend about a minute just pressing this all throughout the pan. Once I have that done, if I want to, I can add, maybe sprinkle it with some additional chocolate chips on top. Or if I wanted to add maybe some extra coconut flakes, if that's something that I was using. Or you don't have to do anything to it. You can just continue to press it in. And once you are satisfied with how well it is formed into the pan, we are going to cover it and put it in the refrigerator for about 2 hours. So we have granola bars that we prepared that have been in the refrigerator for at least 2 hours. We've taken those out and very easily peeled the parchment paper away from them, and we're left with this nice block. So what I'm going to do now is just cut them into our granola bar pieces. Really, we can cut these into 12 pieces. You honestly can cut them into as many or as few pieces as you want. It's entirely up to you. I'm going to take a big knife and literally just cut. So this is going to give me just a little bit, probably about 10 granola bars, because I like them a little bit on the larger side. I think the recipe says that we're going to get 12, and that's what our nutritional information is for. But we have our granola bars cut into nice pieces. We can set them on a plate. These will store for about a week at room temperature. You want to make sure that you're covering them or they're in an airtight container. You can also freeze them for about a month to 2 months, and you can just take them out whenever you need them. But here we have our delicious granola bars ready to go. Look for this and other recipes on our Facebook page, Sky Lakes Wellness Center. Check us out.